I mixed a little bit of chicken bouillon in here in the last little bit of water. I forgot I wanted to make it a little bit more juicy than it usually is. Or morning, whenever you're watching this, I've got a shoulder roast in the crock pot. Shoulder roasts are not my favorite, I don't think. I can't remember what the last one was that I made. I'm hoping it was a shoulder roast, but I don't think it was because this has a bone in it and the other one didn't. The other one was delicious. I made one when we first got the hog. When we got the hog processed, I made one when we first got it, and it was a ham roast and wasn't the biggest fan of it. And then I was like, we got all this pork and I'm not going to enjoy it. The family is still okay about it. Well, a couple of people, Nolan and John, they'll pretty much eat anything. Not quite, but pretty close when it comes to meat. And I was like, I'm not even going to really enjoy this. I ended up throwing another roast in the oven, in the crock pot, and made barbecue pork. It was delicious, the best ever. I wish I would have remembered which one it was. Nonetheless, it all needs to get used. So I grabbed the shoulder roast out of the deep freeze a couple days ago and got it thawed out. And I was actually going to start it yesterday and forgot. So I wanted to go ahead and get that started today. So that's what I did there. I got these little glass oil jars. I wanted to try to stop using as much of like the Pam sprays and whatnot, just because I think this is more cost efficient. Plus it can be better for you than that. You know, we're not big health freaks over here. You'll see that. We go to McDonald's, we go fast food people. And I make all kinds of treats. But any little thing that you can do to make your body better, why not do it? And so I seen this avocado oil. It's a 500-degree smoke point. Thought that might be good for me because I do be smoking the house up. So I will like preheat my oil and whatnot, and then I forget about it. So if I can, alright, so I ran out there and got him to open it for me. I was gonna say, then you put the lid back on it. It's not the best lid ever. Will it pour with that? Oh yeah, this is good. I don't want it to go crazy anyways. I'm gonna pour it in here. Did I pour all of it or just some of it? I don't know. Either way, it is Saturday. However, we don't have baby girl this morning because she was going on a little trip with mommy and daddy, a day trip. And so we're either going to get her this evening when they get back or tomorrow morning. And I figured that be a good day for me to get that chicken coop cleaned out efficiently. I want to go ahead and get it cleaned out really good and get the old bedding and whatnot. It's mostly sand. Hold on a moment. Anyways, I want to get out there and get it cleaned up really good and put the trash, the stuff from the coop, into the beds. We're not, I mean, you can't put chicken stuff straight into beds, but we're not done with them and they need more stuff added to them. Manure here. They needed more stuff added to them anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and toss it in a bottom layer. Not like that. I figured I'd just bring you along. It's supposed to be almost 70 today. So I figured this would be a good day. Would have been a good day to get out and get something done. But originally John was going to work because things haven't worked out too good this week for them with work. So he was going to work and then ended up they didn't get to work today. So him and Nolan decided to go out and just do what they like to do. And I was like, you know what, it's fine. I got multiple things I would like / need to do anyways. The sun is really bright. It's a little chilly still to be out here without a jacket, but I'm not ready to do my stuff yet. I'm going to go in and we'll get prepped and whatnot, but I think I'm going to do the chicken coop and then, or should I start there? Because I'll probably end up jumping in the shower after the chicken coop. Alright friends, so we're headed out here. I've decided, John got me a little shovel to clean it out because I was planning on just like going all the way in and getting all of it out. But I think what I'm going to do is just scoop the coop and just throw it all into the bottom. And then we'll go from there. Still got to think about some things, figure some stuff out. And then this old water barrel thing that's right here that we used to, we had it in there for a doghouse for a while, and then we just left it because well, it was still a doghouse, I guess, but Clovis enjoyed it, the goats enjoyed it. It finally broke. John got it from they done a job, guy didn't want it, So he brought it home because he figured we could use it for something. And it served a purpose for a while. Good morning, baby. But we just don't need it I mean, it's broke now. And there's nothing to do with it. Are you enjoying the sunshine, sunshine? Hello, darling. And the chickies sound like they might need something. We really need to build a hay feeder too, because I feel like there's a lot of hay that's getting wasted with the way that we've been doing it, and I don't love that. Anyways, what I was thinking about earlier is what I was talking about. You know, I didn't know what I should do as far as like the chicken manure goes, because manure is just a nicer word than poop. But what I should do as far as the chicken manure goes, and just like not knowing how to do compost correctly or where to do it and whatnot. And I was thinking about how a lot of times, I don't know if he pulled up in my driveway or not. I was thinking about how a lot of times that being scared of stuff stops us from doing what we want to do. And it's even more so with sharing stuff on social media, if you're a social media person, because even if you're doing something completely right, when you're on social media, you are going to get pushback, and you're going to get people that don't agree and whatnot. And if you're a person who fears judgment and don't enjoy that, like if you're a person like me, it stops you from doing it, or it stops you from sharing it. But a lot of times it just stops me from doing it. I think it's the same way for a lot of people. It just stops you from doing things when you're afraid of failure. And something I've been really trying to lean into lately, I even made a post about this on Facebook. I think he did pull up. I just don't know where he went. Anyways, if he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. I just didn't want him coming and seeing me here. But if we are afraid to try things, and we use failure as a reason to not do things, we will literally never do anything new, because you always have a chance of failing. You can be 100% professional at something, and you're still going to fail sometimes. So, especially if you're like me, like I grew up around gardening, and I didn't really grow up around chickens, but people, you know, here and there had chickens, but it just wasn't something that I'd done. I grew up gardening with my grandparents. They'd tell us what to do and we would do it. We was usually like the watering crew or something, because we had a big, large garden growing up, a family garden, and it was close to a creek, but you had to, you know, hand carry the water up to water stuff if it needed to be watered. It was a whole big family affair to plant seed and whatnot. I remember my little mama would just sit in her little chair, because she wasn't really able to do much. She would just sit in her little chair and just like order everybody around. And so I was raised around a garden, but I was raised just being told what to do. I was raised with, okay, you go pull this, or you go put this here and cover it this way, or, you know, I was fully instructed. And so just diving in from start to finish, that is not what I done. Especially for most of those years of doing that, welcome to Kentucky. For most of the years doing that, we lived in Indiana, and then we would just come down and spend the summers with my grandparents. And so, you know, obviously being a little kid, I just done what I was supposed to. So as I got older, my parents didn't garden, and then John's family does and always did. His mommy and daddy always did, and some of his family did. But it was nothing that either of us really was fully hands-on on, and so we was just kind of clueless. And then years ago, when we first got our first home out in the country where we moved, before we moved here, John had a huge garden, a massive garden, and he done really well with it. I wasn't really into it at the time. I enjoyed the fruits of it, quite literally. I enjoyed the fruits of it, but I wasn't hands-on in doing the garden stuff. And he kind of picks at me sometimes doing it. Like, I'll bring something up, he'll be like, I know how to do that, I done that back then, or we done that back then, or I done it anyways, he'll say. And I was like, I was in the thick of motherhood, I didn't want nothing else. And I know, like, a lot of people garden and grow babies, and kudos to you. And I do have regrets of the way that I do things now, based on the way that I done things when my kids was younger. Like, we do much more like homemade and preserving and just trying to, not fully, because y'all know we're human and we're more human than some even, and I call myself a modern homesteader, okay? I get my groceries delivered. I have Amazon Prime on speed dial. We eat out at restaurants, fast food type stuff, at least once, usually twice a week. But I think that even every little bit that you can do to getting closer to, you know, being homegrown, and every little bit counts. So you shouldn't be like, okay, I'm not gonna grow homemade tomatoes because I eat out at McDonald's. Them two things don't go together for me. I'm not an all or I am typically an all or nothing person. However, when it comes to this stuff, I'm not. I'm a convenience but happiness person. So I do consider myself a hobby homesteader, a modern homesteader, because I do what I want and I do what makes me happy, and I don't fit into a certain aesthetic of it. How did we get here? Nonetheless, I don't really know what I'm doing 80% of the time, if we're being extra lenient and honest. But I have learned to not let that hold me back from things. Your failure rate is 100% if you don't try. And so my goal is to just try to do things. You learn from the mistakes just as much, maybe even more than you learn from the successes. So we've done a compost pile out in the woods before. It done okay. It actually had some beautiful dirt, but then it just was in a bad spot. We didn't focus on it much. And not to say that that same thing won't happen again, but I know that it's easier. Well, maybe. I know it's easier than what I initially thought it was going into it. And so, you know, am I going to try again? Absolutely. Will I fail at it? It's a very big possibility, but I'll still probably learn something from it. Like I learned that the spot that we had it in the woods, where we had it, wasn't the best spot for it. So I'm going to try to move it up where it gets more good, like airflow and a little bit more sunshine, for it to be able to dry out and stuff more. Not necessarily dry out, but just like, I don't know. The compost pile that we had back there even had some seeds come up in it. We saved some, but some of them couldn't be saved just because of where it's at. And so I even thought if I could just have a big dump pile and it just start seeds for me, and then I use those, I would be okay with that too. So that's one reason I wanted to move it. And so that's what we're going to do eventually. Like I said, today I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to get the coop cleaned out, and then we'll go from there. You see the little baby. I was going to clean out some of this stuff that's in here. And I just seen him back there. I'm not the only one who loves the garden and the animals, and who is very much eager to get back at it. I had to walk out here anyway, so I figured I'd just go ahead and do this chore. It's not gonna matter what order I do them in, as long as I get them done. So of course I put my sunglasses on as I'm coming into the shade. So we're going to go ahead and scoop out the chicken coop, and then I need to get them fed and watered anyway. Definitely fed. I just have to check their water. But they're talking like they need something. But they might just want their morning food, because since we've been having the rat problem, we have, you know, we're more careful about, yeah, they need feed. We're more careful about leaving feed out here because we won't be feeding the pests. So gotta get them some feed. You okay with that? They're like, oh, you got feed. Your water is empty. That's what you need. That's what you're saying this morning. Okay, we got you. Still not terrible, because I did get to clean it out some last weekend. Just Violet wasn't having it, and so I didn't get to do it all. Should have brought my step ladder in here so I could step in there. I really hate this. I think I'm going to deep clean it this summer and like pressure wash that. White backdrop was a terrible idea, and I usually don't share this, but I was just telling my sister-in-law about it. She has goats. I think they have 11, and I think a lot of her girls are pregnant, so she deals with goats a lot, and she does TikToks. And she was talking about she didn't really want to film in her barn because goats poop everywhere like chickens, so it's a little bit more cleaner than this. And I was telling her how I don't share the chicken coop. because of that problem. And I was just like, when I was talking to her, I was kind of talking to myself, and I was like, girl, goats poop. Anybody that's going to say something about your goats pooping everywhere and stuff being messy, they don't know what they're talking about. And then I convicted myself, because that is how I am with the chickens. I don't share their chicken coop. I mean, there's really nothing in there to see other than their poop wall, but I don't share it because I don't want people to see it. And I was trying to encourage her to be like, animals poop. Chickens poop everywhere. Goats poop everywhere. It's just part of it. And so anybody that's going to say something, they just don't know what they're talking about, or they're just one of them people that just want to complain about everything. So here I am, showing my poop wall. But I actually could probably take a broom to it, especially here. This looks dried. Over there, not so much. Either way, we'll get that cleaned up later. Today we're going to worry about this. I might do, but the thing is, if I use a broom on that, it's going to become the broom for the coop, because nobody wants to put that on their floors, you know? So, I could just get a new broom and use the basement one. Are we going to do it? Are we going to clean the poop? We might as well. Once I start thinking about something, we just had this conversation. Once I start thinking about it, if I don't do it, it's going to consume me. So, before I go get them some water, y'all remember how I told you all that Chickpea passed away, that Shaqueen lived. We thought it was the other way around, but ended up Wendy said it was that Chickpea had passed away. I was right. It was not Chickpea. It's still sad, nonetheless, because Shaqueen was still one of our people. But Wendy was out here looking and noticed how talkative she was, and she's like, that is Chickpea. So Shaqueen had some black on her, and this one somewhere, I don't know, but nonetheless, either way, there was one and the same to me anyways. Just Chickpea was very close to some people, and because she's the one that had the riboflavin rebo something. She had the deficiency, and so she had a little bit of a harder journey when she was a baby. But nonetheless, whether it's Chickpea or Chiqueen, we're gonna call her Chippy. She's a baby. She's probably one of the friendliest ones. See how good she is? Most of them aren't like this.
We have an onion.
An onion?
Growing in that garden bed.
We need some water. Go bring me the basement broom. Not the dustpan. Just the broom.
The crusty?
Yeah, because I'm going to use it to see if I can dust the walls in here. And then it can't go in the basement no more. Because that's my stay.
Do you know where it is in here?
Possibly Dad's back room. Just check the walls as you go down through there, but it's probably back in Dad's room. So if you bring me that step stool thing too, so I need to climb in here, and I don't want to have to put my hands all over crap. Literally. Some of this sand that wasn't over, like under the roasting bars, I'm gonna spread back out in here. Cleaner stuff, because it's easier to, you know, get it out if there's something there to get it. So. Hindsight and all that, I would, if I was rebuilding this coop, I would move the resting bars, the roosting bars. I would rather had two and do them long ways, or have it to where there's a tray under it. Well, it'd be easier to clean up, because chickens poop all night long. They just be sleeping and pooping, and so there gets to be little mountains of buildup under the bar. And I would like if I could have just like pulled out, like I've seen them to where there's a tray under the roosting bar. You just pull it out, clean it off, and put it back. That would have been good. But you know, when you don't have a clue what you're doing and you watch videos and you try to prepare, sometimes the best learning comes from actually doing. So don't always get it exactly how you would like. It's very dusty out here. You approve? Huh? Still not perfect. Cleaner than it was. I think there was 3. Annie Oakley, Betty, and one of the twins. Right.
On it. This one has speckles too.
I like the way that these bloom though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bad plan. Look how close she is to the fence. I think my baby's calling me. Is it too cold for him? Dirty boots off. Hello, dirty Crocs. I don't wear Crocs out, but as Nolan outgrew, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it if you do, but as Nolan outgrew his Crocs, I kind of took over them, and then now his Crocs are too big. Can't wear them if I want to. He don't wear Crocs anymore. He outgrew them. And, but nonetheless, I went in and changed. I'm going to just clean up a little bit. And yes, this is the poop broom, but it's not inside the house, so I didn't think it would hurt to use it here. So we're going to use it here, and then it'll be just an outdoor broom for this patio, or in the chicken coop, actually, where I was. But I needed to clean over here, and I needed a broom. So I didn't want to go get the leaf blower out of the truck, so. Alright, so I got it clean enough. Obviously I can't put those doors anywhere, and then this mess is just, it's a mess. We're gonna leave that though. I just wanted this cleaned up because it just had a lot of like rotting leaves out here. Just wanted to get it cleaned up, get the trash took up, just put my barrels over there, and then we got some focus problems. Anyways, still gonna get that barrel drug up there. Wendy's back there cleaning off her porch. Let me wash my hands, and then I want to share something with you. Y'all, this pork has got the house smelling like pinto beans or a Sunday dinner at church. If you know what that smells like, that's what the house smells like. Anyways, got some pictures I wanted to share. My plan was just to get 2 8x10s of some chicken art that I'd done of 2 of our girls. Just like edited it to where it's just like, well, this. And I was just going to get, isn't she beautiful? I was just going to get a 8x10 printed and then put it into a black 8x10 frame. However, these was on sale for 60% off. Still a little pricey. But they're supposed to be $40 a piece for this. I got this one. And I don't remember, this is one of the twins, the teenage twins, but Wendy could probably look at it and tell who it is. But then this one's Betty. I got both of them. It's supposed to be $40 a piece. I got both of them for $31, so I figured that was a good enough deal. Come with little feet too if you wanted to put it up, but I want to put them on the wall. I'm just not sure if I want to hang them like this, or if I want to do them like this, or where I want to put them at. But I'm so excited about these. I love chicken art. I love chicken pictures. Y'all know, you've seen my stuff. I love chicken stuff. And so I was like, why don't you just make some of your own girlies? So that's what I did. And I really wish I could do one of the goats too. And I can. In this style though, it has to be Reba, because Dolly would just be black. Like it would be a black picture. But I am obsessed with these. Like I love them so much. Like, isn't that beautiful? I think it is anyway. And I love the way that the detail is captured in it. And it's just I'm really happy about it. So I don't know where they're going to go, but I got to put them on the wall somewhere. So, need to figure that out too. Nonetheless, Wendy is out there cleaning off her porch. I think she's pretty much done. I'm going to walk out here. I'm going to walk out here and see what she's doing and see if she needs any help or anything like that. Now got some, we still got 2 hours until this roast is done. I want to serve mine over a baked potato because I'm upset. That's just so good. So I want to do for dinner. So dinner's already figured out and planned. We're going to get out here and see if Wendy needs any help. And that's going to probably be it for the day because I've talked plenty, I reckon. So this is what Wendy done. She got it cleaned off really good. Actually, baby girl's toys still everywhere. It's supposed to rain. I told her tomorrow, but I looked again. It's showing it's supposed to rain Monday. She said it needs washed anyway, so blanket, but she set it up. Alright friends, and with that, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. As always, remember to show grace, be content, and live blessed. Bye friends.